game. Pretty much 46% from the field. He is a big reason why this offense clicks so well. And I think he is going to turn it up a notch for the Bulldogs in this tournament.
You know what I just noticed, though?
What?
We did not, neither of us mentioned that entire time, a guy who may actually, if not winning...
I don't think we mentioned the three best...
We didn't mention Jaleel Okafor.
We didn't. And I think, interestingly enough, I think the three consensus best players in this region, Kyle Wiltshire, Jaleel Okafor, and Tyus Jones, none of us picked them. I mean, I mentioned Wiltshire, but nobody mentioned either of the stars from Duke. And it's interesting because, Carl, who do you have making the Final Four?
Duke! I have Duke. Here's the deal. I think that San Diego State is too defense heavy, so they will be able to move right by there. We look to Utah. Honestly, I would not be surprised if it's any of those four teams, Utah, Stephen F. Austin, or Georgetown, or East. But none of them are nearly as talented as Duke is. Duke is an extremely talented team. When you look at their losses, they have 4 losses, and they're all to extremely talented teams, other than the Miami loss, obviously. Maybe the NC State loss you can take too, but when this team is on, they are on, and I think they have some of the most talented basketball players in the nation. And then you take them against Gonzaga, and I'm not saying Gonzaga is losing because it's Gonzaga. I'm saying Duke is winning because it's Duke, and because Coach K is going to win that game. And I think the coaching battle there goes to Coach K. And I think in a game that tight and that skilled, I think he's going to be the guy who can lead them to victory.
By the way, before I make my picks, Boise State and Dayton have tipped off. Dayton started off with 4 quick points in the first minute to cut it to 29-24. And Boise State just called timeout. Dayton feeling it right now, putting the pressure on Boise State. For me, my Elite Eight, I ended up with Gonzaga and Duke. I think Duke beats Stephen F. Austin. Gonzaga wins a highly contested one against Iowa State. I think whoever comes out of Gonzaga, Iowa State is going to the Final Four. And I think Gonzaga wins. And I'm not saying they're going to lose because they're Duke. But I'm saying they're going to lose because they're Duke. Look, I think this team has talent. Don't get me wrong. But I think we've seen it a lot of times that Duke has gone out early to teams that maybe it shouldn't have. Maybe they're more talented. I think that, once again, I think the most talented team in this region. But I think top to bottom, Gonzaga has more depth. And to be honest, I've been preaching Gonzaga all year long, 100% Zags. So, a bit hypocritical of me if I wouldn't go with Gonzaga. But I got the Bulldogs making a Final Four run. And by the way, that is the only Final Four team that me and Carl have not picked the exact same way.
We did pick all 8 Elite 8 teams. So if those are the 8 Elite 8 teams, look for us at the top of the leaderboard, because
we got me up there.
The same. Although I feel like we are a really common Elite 8. Like I didn't pick a very out there Elite 8. No,
I don't think it's a ridiculously out there year though.
True. I think I said we had this conversation a couple months ago. I was sitting there, I'm like, this year's going to be so chalk. Because unlike last year, there's such a big favorite to win. Honestly, my personal favorite tweet on Selection Sunday was, "Oof, tough draw. All these teams are in the same tournament as Kentucky." And while we can only pick Kentucky in most of the games, I mean, they're still there. It's everybody else's tournament. I mean, everybody else is playing in March Madness, but man, it looks like it's Kentucky here. That brings us to the Final Four, and we do have to hurry up just a tad bit. So, Noah, how about you lead us through the week in Indianapolis?
All right. It's a big weekend. And, of course, the only difference, I've got Gonzaga playing Virginia, Carl's got Duke playing Virginia, and then we both have Kentucky and Arizona.
There we go.
Big matchups, and we will start with Kentucky and Arizona. Carl, are the Wildcats going to come at least a game away from an undefeated season? Not saying they're going to win it yet.
Which Wildcats? There's 2 Wildcats in this matchup, Noah.
Carl, I just said the Wildcats come undefeated. Unless,
no, I know you said Wildcats, but you didn't realize this is the Kentucky Wildcats.
Wildcats will be undefeated.
I know what you meant, but maybe our viewers
No, I
don't.
said undefeated. I'm 90% sure I said undefeated.
Noah?
Unless they don't know which team is undefeated.
I'm picking the Wildcats.
Alright, down to the bottom region. We have a 2 seed and a 2 seed. Carl, which 2 seed are you going to go with?
No, I have a 2 seed and a 1 seed.
Oh god, then it doesn't work. Whatever. Blue or red up top? Kentucky or Arizona?
I've got Kentucky on the one side and then flipping over to the other side. In an ACC battle for a spot, I'm picking Virginia. I think that specifically, I trust that Justin Anderson can come back and be healthy. And the Cavaliers' defense is what is going to bring them this. They have the best scoring defense in the Division One over. I mean, they're a fantastic defense. And I think that's what's going to propel them. They have the record over Duke before. If you look at them, Virginia lost by 6 last time, but it was a tight game. I think overall Virginia's going to be able to pull it out. When we move to the final, it's Kentucky's year, guys. I mean, as much as it seems sad to say and kind of boring to say Kentucky, 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 I don't think we can preach Kentucky enough this year. And while we have all the other picks, and obviously not all of us can win our bracket group, Kentucky's the way to go this year, and I don't think anybody can question that.
I think there are definitely people who can question that, Carl. I think there are people who have.
No, there are going to be people who are wrong.
Carl, oh God, I may have to change my bracket now. How could you say that? Don't jinx it. Don't be like Mama Garrett. You can't jinx it like that.
No, I'm jinxing it. Noah, I am jinxing it. I dare you to change your bracket.
Please, don't do this to me, Carl. Alright. Title game?
No.
Okay, Carl. Title game, I have the same thing as you. Kentucky, Virginia. La-di-da, same exact thing. And I've got the Kentucky Wildcats, top to bottom. Best team in the country. The depth, it hurts my head. The depth on that team is unbelievable. It is insane. I have never seen a team that deep. And I think that for the first time since Indiana did it, Kentucky will go undefeated. But Carl, player of the tournament, I will start. I think Pangos will put up the best numbers, but I think the player of the tournament always goes to the winning team. And I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with the surprise. I think I'm gonna go with Devin Booker. What?
I said intriguing choice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Devin Booker. Definitely not the favorite to win it by any means, but I really do like what Devin Booker brings to the table. 6'6", 206, a talented guard. He's put up great numbers in his freshman year, and I think he'll take home player of the tournament. Carl, who you got?
Alrighty then. I mean, it's a loaded Kentucky roster to say the very least. But I think it's always interesting to look to who plays the most minutes per game on a team, right? Who's really leading the twin? And when you look at this, there's the Harrison twins. There's Willie Cauley-Stein right at 25. And this team reminds me, not entirely, but there are some aspects. And I think that often they're of the Duke team that won. Because you have some kids who are older on this team who could be able to lead. And I think that's where the Harrison twins come in. And overall, when you look to Aaron Harrison, he had a shaky beginning of the year, but if you look to the end of the year, he started to rack up some bigger games. Looked at 16 against Georgia. That game was tight for a little. He racks up those games. And I think overall, as a sophomore leader on this team, I think that he could be a surprise guy who could take that player of the year. Most outstanding player of the Final Four, I believe, is the technical term. But yeah, I think he's a guy who could come out of the blue for Kentucky, no pun intended, and take that most outstanding player award.
Jake would be proud. All right. Biggest storyline, biggest maybe game or moment you're looking forward to, Carl, in this tournament?
You know what? I think that it's hard to call a great moment. But I've got to say, I think it's going to be if Kentucky does win that final game, they go perfect for the first time in whatnot, 40 years. I think that's got to be the best moment when you've got a team cutting down the nets for the perfect season. That's got to be the best moment of the tournament. As for things that could shock, again, always look for that 15, that 14 seed who nobody picked, who was the 90% underdog. One of those teams that could win, and I think Albany's a good choice there, and I think that New Mexico State against Kansas is the other one that is a small possibility, but it could shock some people.
All right, biggest storyline, yeah. Will Kentucky go undefeated? Biggest storyline for me, without a doubt. The other storyline, can Kentucky be stopped? Can they lose, and to whom? Who can beat them?
The other storyline, is there any storylines that are not called Kentucky?
Yes.
All right, no.
Oh, yes. And that storyline, where you can go, will Villanova be able to prove the haters wrong? Will Justin Anderson be able to bounce back from injury? I can go on and on.
Well, Noah, when you're talking, yes, he will. And then next time we start talking, you can go and see the shows. Follow Infinity Sports Network on Spreaker and go like us on Facebook. But Noah, I'll let you close this out. I personally have to get going. So see you, and thank you for having me on the show.
All right. Well, it's time for March Madness, and there goes Carl. There goes the beeping noise. But it's time for March Madness. It's gonna get crazy. I can guarantee you that. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Good luck with your brackets. Good luck if your team is in the tournament. Get ready for some madness, and in a couple weeks, we will have a new champion crowned in college basketball. For Carl Mogline and Miles Klotz, I'm Noah Taborda. Thank you for tuning in to the Infinity Sports Network March Madness Preview Show.